I'll say this, that please, if God put something before you in your heart, stick with it and be obedient to that, because if you don't, you'll get off. And then it takes you longer to get back to where God really wants you.
Wow. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Carrie with How Do We Get There podcast. Right here, we have my beautiful wife, Felicia. We have a special guest on today. You are?
Pastor Jeffrey Hairston.
Trivinia, Hairston.
And they are the pastors of?
Tabernacle of Praise, the top.
The top church. The top church. We're here in their beautiful facility. How long have you all been in here in this part of the facility?
Since April of 2021.
April of 2021. Wait a minute, Pastor. Now, during the pandemic, you were supposed to have closed up and ran away and hid.
That's right. That's right. But the Lord said, press on. And that's what we did, and we pressed on. Even when the bank tried to say that y'all think y'all want to wait, we said, no, we want to go forward. We want to go forward, and we did.
And I wish you all could see just the atmosphere and the background and everything that's been done in the front part where we're at. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's well put together, and it's just beautiful.
Yes, this is awesome. You know what? To see what the Lord can do in a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? When you trust Him,
that's right.
When you're listening to His voice, and that I think that is the key, because some people shouldn't be out, shouldn't open up, and shouldn't have been doing things, because if you weren't prepared, you shouldn't bring the public into a spot, and you're not prepared to have the public.
That's right.
Am I correct in that?
You're correct.
Correct. Seeing you two are healthcare professionals, we just around here, me and Pastor, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
We put it like that.
We put it like that. We make the team even.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We make the team even. And we want to thank you all for your hard work. You know what I'm saying? For your sacrifice. Because Lord knows you all did a lot of sacrificing.
We both know we couldn't have done it without the Lord.
Yeah. So, opening this right here during the pandemic. Tell us about it.
Well, it was surreal because it wasn't supposed to be. And that's what really makes it, you think about it, how when we came out of our resource center and we moved in here, and when we finally walked through the doors and actually see what God has done, it made things even more committed to God, and it made things even more trusting that there is a plan. There is more that He has for us. But it was challenging. There was a journey. I don't know if you want to hear about it or whatever.
Go ahead.
But my wife can share with it. And I want to say to her and let y'all know that this thing, it was really a part, basically her, that moved this thing into where we are, because God gave me the vision, but He also made provisions, and she was one of those people that worked diligently with the administration part and working with our financial institutions and getting everything. While I'm looking at plans, she's dealing with the people that, hey, go ahead and get it done. And she worked diligently, and this is what you see when two people work together. And He's put you where you're supposed to be. And I feel like we kept the love of God in the middle and kept us together. Because when you do a project like this, you're going to have some frustrations, and it can tear you apart.
Yes.
If you're not careful.
Yes.
But we knew that the Lord had this for us to do. But I have to say, during this process, she has been the one that has really, really put us in a position to, because the bank asks you different things.
everything but a lock of hair.
So they
don't just say you want my blood. I'm just bringing it up there.
because you can do certain things, but the money that you're trying to get to do certain things, and the money that we was needed for this, is unheard of in a pandemic that we was dealing with, and so knowing that we had to have a lot of prayer, but the tremendous thing on the upside is that we spent a lot of money, but God got us in a better position than we was when we bought it. And there's a lot of things we can tell you off camera. We're not going to tell you on camera. But I will let her explain some of the things that she went through and some of the things during this process.
Well, like he said, he had the vision. And I want to just give a shout out to our members of Tabernacle of Praise Church because they stuck with us through the process. He had the vision, but we had to follow and put it into fruition. So just like the banks and all of that stuff. And I don't know if you all saw that. We did show that to our congregation last month at our anniversary. We actually had looked at another building and they denied it. We had to go to the council.
I remember that.
Zoning and planning too.
Zoning and planning. They were very nice about it. They were like, we see what y'all are doing with the young people and all of this, but we just don't want to put a church in this particular area, Yeah. And so actually, when we came out of the meeting, we had packed out the room. When we came out, the police was outside because they were like, okay, they got all these people. What they going to do?
That's exactly right.
WDBJ7 was on, and I get chills, just thinking about it. And we came out, and everybody was smiling, and the kids were playing with the police officers and everything.
Right.
And they interviewed him, and we just said, a delay is not a denial. And so God led Pastor Jeff to see this building. And long story short, God made a way for us to remodel, and the members stood in there with us. And matter of fact, banks do not like to lend money to churches. I mean, I'll just put that out there. We're going to do a conference in the fall for churches, helping them with funding, how to prepare for loans, and social media, advertisement, all that stuff like that. But actually, the banker saw the WDBJ7, and he was like, what in the world? Because the lady that was selling this building, she went to bat to try to find funding. Usually that doesn't happen. Right. They just want the money for the building. But she talked to her own banker, and the banker happened to be watching WDBJ7, and he was floored. He was like, I need to know more about this church. He said, I thought they was going to come out and go to blows, but they so nice, and everybody's smiling. So he took it straight to our Facebook page and started pulling up the things that we do in the community for police officers and ambulance workers and all this stuff. And he immediately started working with us. And one thing I want to say before I finish on that, in the middle of the loan process, he had lunch with us, and he sat us down and he said, I hate to tell y'all this, he said, but I'm thinking about transferring to another bank. I said, no, you're not. I said, no, you're not. I said, no, you're not. I said, you got to see this through. See this through, because you know how it is. When you got somebody working with you. And you might have somebody
They're going to drop the ball.
Yeah, they might drop the ball. So he laughed, and he was like, what? I said, oh, no. I said, you can't quit. I said, you got to. And he's still at that bank, and I think he's even gotten a promotion since then. And we laugh about that. But all of that was God's plan, and he orchestrated all of it.
And I want to say this, and listening to you talk about that, I got excited because sometimes you think your transition and your process is going to be easy, and that you think that it's all supposed to just work out just like that.
Right.
But if you quit in the middle of the storm, what would have happened? And I think you sharing this with everyone out there, you all sharing this, I got coach. Because your process means a lot. So, you all go forward with that, and I'm sorry.
You're fine.
But,
I'll get you some tissue.
This is...
Sometimes our process means a lot. Sometimes you got to go through that rough part of the phase to get to where you need to go.
Right. That's exactly
and that's your testimony is a a part of mine.
Okay.
So that's why I'm emotional. I'm
Yeah.
gonna straighten it up and
I'd rather you be real and genuine than
Yeah.
anything else.
I mean,
but this is what this is all about. How do
Yeah.
you get there?
Yeah.
We just recently, we love community work. We love to be a part of a church that's part of community work.
Mhm.
And to hear you all talk about that
Right.
and how, excuse me,
Oh, you're fine.
for our audience out there. But if you're sitting here where I am, you'd be
Feel
honored.
the anointing.
You would be honored and can know that the Lord is working inside of here.
Right.
We love that because it's one thing to have a church and you all are right in the community.
Yeah.
When we stopped, I said, oh, it's right here. Now, how many times have I passed by here just to go to the hospital here to do clinicals for school?
Right.
Didn't even notice it.
Yes.
And this was just last year
Right.
during the fall. So to see it right here in the beginning, I say, before you get into the town, you got to come through
You
here.
gotta come through here.
So everybody is going to see
Right.
and already know what you all are doing. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited just hearing you share that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna leave it alone. But
I think we can stick right there because there's so
But
many
he
things.
actually, and that's how God works.
That's how
He
God-
actually grew up on the street.
The street I grew up on is Patterson Avenue, which is right here. And I, as a little kid, rode by this building all my life. And even my bicycles, it was a dealership. And when my bicycle tires used to be flat, I used to come here and they used to fix them for free.
So God, imagine God already knew
Yeah.
Wow.
what he was going to do then. And you're
Cause you to
and
come
your
back
tears,
to a place.
and we talk about all of this and we laugh about it. But there was a lot of sleepless nights. There was a lot of happy tears and crying tears and stuff. But we never ever thought about quitting.
Never.
Ever.
Wow. You know what? This is, this here is why we're here.
Right.
To bring glory to God,
Yes.
for all of the great things that he has done. And I want to say, because of what you all just said, a lot of people think just because it's hard that it's not God.
That's right.
And a lot of people get lost in thinking because you're saved and you love the Lord that it's going to be easy. If God is in it. Yeah.
You make mistakes.
And you make mistakes. If God is in it, it wouldn't be this hard. No.
I'll raise you even one. I'll tell you. Before God showed me this place, I had already bought 6 acres of land in Sontag, Virginia. Because I wanted to build a church down in Sontag. And I had the land and everything.
Right.
And I said, but everything that I kept trying to do, it just wouldn't work out like I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, you know what, God? I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going to keep on praying and you show me. And God worked out. We only live a mile from this. This
we can actually walk, but
we can actually
don't.
I keep saying I'm gonna walk. It's like 6/10 of a mile or something.
Right.
And one day I was coming through and I pulled in the parking lot and he said, pull in here. And I said, what in the world? He said, this is home. And I said, not this place. Not this place.
Not this place.
And I said, how am I gonna show the diggings? How am I gonna show the trustees? How am I gonna say and convince them? The Lord said, no, this is home. And so we kept the process going. Like I said, I had that piece of land, but little did I know that piece of land was going to be very important for us to even do the whole project that we did. So now the land came, and we don't have that land anymore, but God enabled us to sell it and to help with what we're doing here. So when you're going to go through these trials and you make these decisions and you think, God, was I following you? Did I make the right decision?
Right.
I was right because I wanted the church for this. I wanted the place for
But he
this.
has to take you on a journey.
He takes on a journey, and I'll say this, that please, if God puts something before you in your heart, stick with it and be obedient to that, because if you don't, you'll get off. And then it takes you longer to get back to where God really wants you.
Wow.
I want to go back to when you just stated that you all are going to be doing something. Was it this fall coming up?
Yes.
I like that because there's a lot of churches that starting small. They may not have a whole lot of congregation and may need to move or venture out and don't know how.
Okay.
And that's going to be good
Right,
for them.
yes. We're going to open it up to everybody.
Because when you don't see a whole lot of people supporting
Right.
your members and everything, and you do need that support because it's scary.
It is.
It's like you all just ventured out and did what the Lord asked you to do.
Right.
Some are still waiting
Right.
and thinking it's going to
Right.
come to them in a package or a brick going to fall
But
on
you
their
gotta do
head
the
with
footwork.
a note wrapped
Right.
around it that says, okay, go here
Right.
and do this. And tomorrow you need to go here and do this.
Right.
That didn't,
Mm-mm.
you all didn't see
definitely have
that,
to-
did you?
No, you definitely have to pray and you have to do your work. That's our daily prayer is, God, if you give us the strength,
Right.
then we will do the rest. But I always laugh and say, God really doesn't like laziness. So, from Genesis to Revelations is so many scriptures that talk about the sluggard and how he had really admired the ant and how they prepare and work together,
Exactly.
So it's all about working.
We're laughing.
We're
going to tell you a story about the
Okay.
ant, okay?
We laugh about his father, the late Bishop C.W. Hairston, my father, the late Bishop Robert Kellum. They didn't tolerate laziness.
No.
I mean, and I say all the time, we were learning and we didn't even know they were teaching us because all the Sunday schools, the Bible studies, the 3:00 services, the Bible it's like, okay, so God was preparing us for such a time as this. And so we love helping other churches. We don't know it all. Absolutely don't know it all.
Right.
But what we know and what we have experienced, we're more than glad to share that with other churches.
But so many, and hear you say that, and hear you both talk about that. So many people are afraid to share where they've been because thinking of embarrassment but you do not realize how much of a nugget you all are giving someone just in what your travels have been, just in what your trials have been, just in what your tests have been, just as what your testimonies have been. It's going to help somebody else. It's helping us right now. And I mean, I don't believe that we have to be doing the same things you are, but just hearing what you have gone through and that you didn't give up through the process, that's going to help. That helped me. That helped me. So,
and nothing that we've ever done came easy. We went through infertility before. A lot of people don't know because he's the youngest of 7. I'm the youngest of 6. It's like, that's all we could do was have kids. So we had Leah and we tried, and it was like 4 years, but it seemed like eternity. And so, but God took us through that so that we can minister to other ladies that's going through infertility, other couples. And we prayed for people, and they'll text back a call and say, guess what? I'm having a baby. Everything that we've done, even nursing school, about that. So everything, and he used to pave, and he started his own business, and that was tough in the beginning, but everything is not easy.
No.
So let's talk about that since you ventured already off. Let's start with Pastor.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about what you do other than pastoring a congregation and the Lord using you in that way.
Okay. Well, where do we start? Well, I would say with this, I did have a paving company, but paving, I loved it, was very successful in it. But as I started the church, the Lord, I didn't quite have time for the church because the paving was so demanding. And so that business, I was trying to do, but God had laid on my heart to start a church. So that's when we started church. I made a conscious move and a faith move to just go full-fledged into the church. So in doing that, God blessed me with the process of starting Hairston, organ sales and rental. And as I've done that, I never saw myself. I always had worked on them, and I just did these things. But God said, "I'm gonna fix it where you can do this and make your own hours and do this." And so I did those things. I made the necessary. I sold all my paving equipment and all these things. It hurt because I love to do it, but that was something I was doing because my father did it. And I thought that was a part of what I was supposed to be doing.
You dropped a nugget right there.
Okay, so
with the numbers of COVID-19 increasing all over the United States, I've decided to do all I can to help those that are most at risk. At the heart of all that's happening with COVID-19, I want to be a proponent of a safe worship experience. Ben Franklin said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Every time members enter the sanctuary, it should be a safe and clean worship environment. And so with the proper training and with a budget of less than $500, your church can be sanitized thoroughly 3 times a week with no problems at all. The time is now for us to take action and fight COVID-19.
Okay, so now God said, I'm going to do this for you. But now it was a sacrifice. Now I started the business of Hairston organ sales and rental, and then that just took off one organ at a time. I was helping churches because it became a blessing, and I was working one organ at a time, and then God was blessing me to do things. And I had a little story, but I don't want to take up too much.
Go ahead.
I went to a service. I'll just tell you how God does. I went to a service, and God, with this church had wanted to buy an organ, and it was a Friday night. I'll never forget. They was having a service, and the Lord told me to go to the service. I don't know what. I said, Lord. So I heard my young son at the time, and we went, and the preacher preached, get your flesh out of the way. And so the church didn't have the money at the time. And so I went to the service. I was like, what am I doing in the service? Why am I here? And then all of this stuff is happening. And so as I went there, the man was preaching, and I said, Lord, this is why am I here? And I said, I see why I'm here. My flesh don't want to be here, but you want me to be here. And so this church needed an organ, and he says, give them an organ. Give it to them. Ooh. And as a business person, you wouldn't make money. You not gonna do that. But I've learned to be obedient to God, because as I went through the whole service and I couldn't sit still, and my son was asking, Did you okay? I was like, I'm fine. So then I went all the way to the end of the benediction. And I stood up, I said, can I say something? And they let me come to the front, pastor knew me. And I stood up, I said, as I was walking down to tell to the pulpit area, and the Lord said, my flesh said, get $500 out of it, leave out of the organ or something like that. And I said, the Lord said, give it to him.
Right.
And I made the announcement of giving this organ to this church. And the church just went up, and I fell at the altar and cried like a little baby, because I'm dealing with doing what God wants me to do and being a business person. But I found out I can do both, and God can use it.
Right.
So I did both. But now God has blessed me to now where I have organs, I have a place of business, and God has blessed me, and He'll take you in places that is uncomfortable. Yes. Because I didn't think, a lot of churches didn't have the money, and God laid on my heart to finance the churches. And I said to the Lord again, we have these little talks. You can't finance, you're not a finance company. But as God allowed me to finance companies, and then it gave churches the ability to have organs, and they can work in their budget, and they can pay it this way. Right. And I had to start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 12, 13 churches at a time. Wow. So God is taking care of me financially, and He's blessing the church to have what they need. So
you just gave another nugget. And I will pull it out, and I
you pull it out.
You just gave another one. You were probably just starting out, and to just go on out on a limb, and the Lord tell you to do something like that, you do it. And a lot of people don't know how to distinguish between business and church. Right. It's. We've had somebody, I think you shared with me one time, you had somebody tell you that this is business when you had your office in Martinsville when you were doing trucking years ago. And this is business. This is not, And to hear someone that is professing Christ say that, you just put a nugget out there that you can combine the two.
You can.
And it's okay to do that. And you're still going to prosper when you do that.
And he'll open the door and just pour out blessings upon you.
You wouldn't believe there's a lot of people that want to separate that. Separate it and think, I can't be nice to you. I got to do my business here. But then when you see me on church and Sunday, I'm Christian, but I can't be nice to you and combine the two. And that's just not so. You just gave another nugget. Thank you for that.
And now it's your turn, actually.
Now it's together.
Well, I had worked at the hospital for 12 years, and then we had our oldest child, and I needed more.
Yeah, I want you to go back a little further. You started nursing like
I started in, that's a long time ago.
I know. I want people to know how seasoned you are in what you do.
Okay, I went to nursing school. That was hard. It was hard. Joe Brownlee, if you're listening, that was hard.
Lord.
Graduated in 1993, and then I worked at Morrison Hospital for 12 years. And at that point, I went through a lot there, because I was the youngest Black RN for a long time at Morrison Hospital. You wouldn't think,
And
as young
I
as
got to
I am.
capture a little bit of that. When I started out as a CNA at the hospital, you were still in full work.
I was the youngest Black charge nurse.
And I admired you for that.
Thank you, because it was tough because, being a Black female, and at that time I probably didn't weigh 100 pounds soaking wet, so they probably looking at me like, this girl probably about 17 years old, how's she running the floor? But with God, all things are possible. So we went through that, and then I started working at Carillion Home Care, and that's where I saw the need. Because when I would go out to hook up IVs at home or do wound care, I'm looking at these people like, who's going to take care of you when I leave? Because we were only there like 30, 40 minutes.
Right.
And that's when I saw the need for people to have home care aides to stay with them, to take home and bring their meds and all that stuff. And then I just jumped out on faith, and God told me to name my company A Nurse's Touch so I could be first in the phone book. See, God is strategic. First line of the alphabet.
See, y'all, you doing something over
I
there.
want to name it Hairston, all of that.
Yeah.
We got to be mindful, inclusive.
Yeah.
So we will be celebrating 13 years in November at a Nurse's Touch Home Care, and we service 4 counties, and we have over 100 employees.
That's awesome.
Correct me if I'm wrong. When you first started A Nurse's Touch, you were still doing a little bit of work at the hospital, so you just didn't stop.
Well, actually,
right
I kind of weaned from the hospital to Carillion, and I weaned from Carillion into my company.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And I still had faith, but God gave you common sense too. So
because she kept something going.
All the time. My
Right.
father always taught us, grandmother, never quit a job until you have
Another job.
And so, and my supervisor actually at Carillion, when I started my business, they were so supportive. And I appreciate that, and I always remember that. Like, if I have an employee that wants to go on to nursing school, no matter if they're really good, and I want to hold on to them, I have to give them my blessing, because that's what my old supervisors have done.
Right. That's when you said A Nurse's Touch. When I started my last business, it's all trust in them. COVID remediation.
Yeah.
That was my thought.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to be the first. I want to be the first thing that people see, that they pull up. Google. I mean, we have to be mindful of things like
And I
that.
think that's very important, because we're in the season now that you probably could start your name because of a brand. But back in the day, my dad, when he came to Rocky Mount, he didn't name it Hairston. He named it Rocky Mount Paving because in the 60s and 70s, you got to think what time we're in, and there's a lot of segregation stuff going on. And so we would go and do work, and I told you the story before that. When we would go, my dad would be sitting right there, and the man would let his prayers, and they said, y'all done do good work. Go and tell y'all's boss. Y'all did good work. My dad would take the check and say, you don't tell me. You had to use your in that time, you had to use your mind to do it. You still have to do it, but at that time, you couldn't let them know that he was a Black man that owned a company.
Right.
At that time. And he said, I'm no name in Rocky Mount Paving.
Right.
And we have a lot of business. My dad said with right hand, they just thought he was just a supervisor. He was on the other.
Wow.
Even with the church, in this area, this is history, because at present there's no such thing as a white church or a Black church.
Right.
We're predominantly, we have all different types of people that come to our church, but we are predominantly an African American church.
Right.
And this is the largest African American attended church in this area. And for us to be in the heart of Franklin County, you have to know Franklin County to know that had to be God.
Right.
And even like when we were remodeling, people that used to work here for years, they like, you would always, you could see it in their face. They knocked, I used to work here. Can I come in? Yeah, come on in and look around. And they would just be so filled up like, we are giving you our blessing that you all were able to turn this was
Wow.
a car dealership,
Uh-huh.
13,000 square feet into a house of God.
Right.
We're praying for y'all. And we bring people out. We never seen
Never seen it. I've never seen it. I've been living here all my life, but to this day, people come and just say, we want to see inside because our work, because this place was built in 1955.
Wow.
So, you know, a lot of the history, people and employees.
People to just encourage you.
I mean, this is, you know, just being here and hearing you all tell the story of how this started.
Yeah.
This is why I think this podcast is important, because we have to get our stories out.
That's right.
You know, I think about, you called me to come to sanitize this church.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do that. You called me to do one of your customers' homes. You didn't have to do that.
We definitely believe in support.
You know what I'm saying? But that's the type of stuff that, you know, I'm getting emotional because, you know, that's the type of things that, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We support each other.
Yeah, especially as believers.
As believers, we support each other. You know, when I came here and we was back in the back building, just before you did this, you know what I'm saying? We were back there in your event space, multi-purpose. You know what I'm saying? That's another part of these pastorpreneurs over here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? These pastorpreneurs right here. You know what I'm saying? Just think about the Apostle Paul. The Apostle Paul was a tent maker. So that means he wasn't depending on somebody to support him. You know what I'm saying? God taught him, okay, he had a skill, he had a trade. As my daddy always told me, boy, have your trade. Have your skill. You know what I'm saying? And now you all you have three children. We have two girls. Matter of fact, the oldest, she worked for you all years ago, a couple years ago. And I think about it, you know, and I think your son Jeffrey, he's what, 15? 15, you know, and Gabby is 15. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Right. And they're workers. They're already learning and watching us. They're already doing ministry stuff, and they're already doing stuff in school and stuff. And that's what we are trying to teach the youth too, that you can be saved and still be professional.
Yeah. You
can still have a spirit of excellence and say, because when we were growing up, y'all know when we were growing up, you didn't really see too many, even doctors or nurses or accountants profess their love of God.
Right.
But now, you know, you see it on commercials, we like, you know, and you can just see that things have changed. People are glad to say, I'm a professional, but I'm still a Christian.
Right. Yeah. And
a lot of things, I'm sorry to cut you
no,
off
you
there,
okay.
but a lot of times, you know, during this COVID, we have seen, you know, you don't get to see the genuineness of people anymore.
Right.
It's like within the past 3 years, it's just kind of, you see a mask and you forget what's underneath.
Right.
And, you know, we heard our pastor, I think we were talking about it not too long ago. We heard our pastor say, you know, some people have gotten mean. You know, he was saying, you know, because you're not, you know, that caring part and that loving part has went away. And sometimes because of the mask, you let it kind of drift a little bit. And, you know, it's nice to see that you all are still, it didn't change you all. It's nice to see pastors out in the community that are still opening up their doors, still doing community work, still doing for their congregation. The COVID didn't stop it. You kept going. And that's what I enjoy hearing about, is the stories from, you know, you said, I don't want to go into it, but yeah, we wanted you to go into it.
It's just some things like we never stop. I think one of the critical things is we never stop. From a drive-through prayer on Sunday morning. I mean, just come through, lay hands on the car. Everybody's in the car, and lay hands and pray for them, and they keep driving. Right. Outside services, two services. I even opened the church up because we couldn't get everybody back building. Right. So we did services 9:30 and 11:30, and it was hard. But I've seen that importance of keeping people involved and keeping them in touch.
Yeah. I mean, that's important, as I've been, growing, my entrepreneurial ventures. I put together a program because I know there's still a lot of churches, let's say further out in the country here, that might just have 25, 30 members. You know what I'm saying? But they still need to get back inside of the facility to get to, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't, no need to lose the church. You know what I'm saying? So, the Lord blessed me to put together a program to where people could go online, consume the information. I had where they could, a list from Amazon where they could purchase everything that they need to properly sanitize their church, give them all the skills, tell them everything they need to do. Yeah, right. And so I put that together. I mean, and you talking about, you talking about scary? Man, who you think you is? That's what the enemy tells you when you decide to do something. Yeah, well, who you think you is? You know what I'm saying? You ain't. But I'm just telling. I'm being, transparent. But no, that's okay. I learned this. The Lord blessed me to be able to do this, and so why not share it? You know what I'm saying? Why not share it? Whatever, like you said, when you give things away, ain't it amazing how God brings things right back around? Yeah. Good measure. Press down.
And when he blesses you, can't nobody curse you. And see, and when he cursed them, can't nobody bless you. So you got to understand that you continue to be a blessing. And my father used to say this all the time. He said, Jeff, keep your hand like this.
You can't get nothing.
And nothing go out. He said, keep it open. Always blessed, be a blessing, and God always provide for you. And I found that to be the key to this whole thing is my humility in helping people and being here, even when it hurts, even when I don't feel like still do, because I know the blessing. I want my kids to be blessed.
Right.
But the promises to you, to your children, to your children's children, I have to have the obedience and humility.
And that's what gets lost in the process of things is that humility. And how you were raised and the good things about that nurtures somebody else to grow.
That's right.
You got to water somebody else's seed.
That's right.
Because then when their harvest comes up, I can go over there and get some of theirs. And we all working together.
Right.
And that's what we have to remember. We were talking earlier about the conference we're doing in the fall. We look at it that if we're able to bless another church and tell them some of the things that we went through and how to do stuff, we all win.
And their process may not be as hard because you can tell them what's not to do.
Lady at the church used to sing that when I was growing up, smoothing out the rough ways, making it easier for those behind.
Yeah, I have done that in the past. They had not shared.
Keep it quiet.
Oh, man.
Just because they made you that, they just keep it share. We because this comes, our own banker would be here to show you.
We asked him, he said,
I would love to be here. He's the vice president of the bank.
I think it sounds like you all were blessed to him more than
Yes.
he was to
And that is so crazy that you know that because we call him an honorary member. He will look up and he's standing in the back of the
I remember doing the process. We had a meeting where it was a Wednesday night Bible study, and I remember he came because he just wanted to see it. And I remember the praise team was singing, and he was sitting in the service. Boo.
Yeah, and he said he's just one of these people. He doesn't cry. He said, I haven't cried since my mom died years ago. He said, but every time I come,
he comes to church.
I mean,
the
this
connection.
Yeah. So that's good that you could discern that because we hadn't even mentioned that, but we are a blessing to one another. And isn't that how God wants it to be? We are blessing to each other. And I love that because it's something about being around like-minded people. It just gives you a fresh wind. It's not that we're going to push anybody out that don't believe like us or may not have gotten there yet, but it looks different. It looks different, but sometimes the encourager needs encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, man. I know another time is, and I know you're busy, right? And I know you guys busy, but man, this is, I just feel like this one right here is the one because people need this. You know what I'm saying? People need encouragement in today. You know,
And I want to encourage you. I appreciate you because one thing I noticed about you, ever since I met you, never changed.
To God be the glory.
You've always been that nice person that I could go to lunch with anytime. Or I can talk to you, and I want to take encourage you in your business. What you're doing here, I love it. I love how you give me these ideas. I encourage you. Remember, my wife used to stand behind you.
Oh man, you know this is. You know,
I believe what you're doing.
yeah. I mean, this is awesome. I mean, look, last week. Last week we had talked. I called you, right? Okay. I sent you a message on Facebook, and he said I'll get back with you. So last Friday, me and Gabby, we pull up at the church down at Pastor Drew Silla's church. Pull up there. She in the car working, typing away. You know, I go inside. I go inside the church to start sanitizing the church, and here this guy come from behind. I heard somebody, I know that voice. So I look back at her. I said, yeah, I've been waiting on that call. Yeah.
And we had talked about it before he run into you. He said, we need to talk to because he has a story. He told me about the story you just shared with everyone. And you tell, you know, we enjoy listening to other people's stories.
Right.
And you know, it's like, you know, you might not want to tell it. You might think, oh, somebody getting tired of listening to it. No, we can hear it all over again as if it was brand spanking new. Because that story brought about morals and values for you all in raising your children and how you veer and how you rear the church and how the Lord is how you're listening to God.
Right.
That story kind of was a foundation for him.
And that's the thing too. We have to remember the foundation, to stay on the foundation, because it is so easy in business, ministry, family, or anything like that to veer off, you know, because you got social media, we got so much social media and TV and, you know, all the stuff. And it's so easy to just veer off. But you have to keep your eye on God. So what did God tell me to do? What is my purpose? Even if it seems crazy to everybody else.
This was crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah, because like I was saying earlier, if it's easy, you know, just because it's hard doesn't mean it's not God.
Right.
And so I just feel like God specializes in the hard. Because if it was easy, encourage each other. But I mean, if it was easy, we could do it ourselves, right?
Yeah.
But when it's hard, that's how you know that.
Yeah. I mean, I see that when, you know what I'm saying, when she started, you know what I'm saying.
I can see it, you know, even in ministry, God had blessed her to do certain things. And I know that she had a profound effect on certain people, like God has given her. And me as a pastor, I had to realize this is not no ordinary woman.
Yeah.
And the Lord let me see. The Lord let me know that she has a gift. And it can be used in ministry. And I said, well, I had to hold myself because sometimes, you know, I was raised, you know, but God showed me that He's given her.
Yeah.
And then, hey,
wow. Yeah.
So we work together. Some people might not say that's not right. It works well.
And you know what? Seeing that it works for you all, you know, in this world that we live in, you know, it's still a lot of male-dominated and chauvinistic things. You know what I'm saying? Bodies that walk around with just the head, but our home is non-traditional. Because like I said, I work at home. I work from home. My wife, she's a nurse, so she's always working. So therefore, and like you said, when your wife was in school and doing things, you had to make sure that the kids were
I didn't want they were bothering her because I knew just what she was.
Right.
It was
Just
a
temporary.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like it was going to. I knew it was going to time was going to come. We were going to see the benefits of this. And I said, "Oh, she's my mate. I'm going to support her.
Yeah.
She supports me.
Right.
So
This things go both ways.
And that's exactly what I've gotten from him. Now, only thing he can't do is her.
Right.
We got 2 girls, and she's laughing. Look.
I did now. Come on now. Give it to him. We did it.
He
Yeah.
tried. He did send our oldest off to school. Gabby wasn't here yet.
But yeah.
He sent our oldest off to school, and he did the best he could.
But you know what I'm saying?
Anything else in the household, cooking, washing clothes, it wasn't. That's your job, not mine.
No, because we're a team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Teamwork make the dream
Because
work.
like Dr. Field always says, how is that working for you? You kill one,
Yeah.
and you don't have anybody to
Yeah.
help you, then you got a problem. So
Right.
it's best, especially with, like you were saying earlier about the mask, and people have, become stony hard, I guess you can say. I don't think people really realize how much we've been through in the last 2 years, because some of us couldn't stop.
Right.
Some people could stop.
Uh-huh.
We could
No.
not stop. If anything, we speeded up,
Yeah.
but it was a different type of normal. But in that, it just made people kind of bitter and things like that. But you have to realize that you have to continue to be godly and nice, and loving and kind, depend on God, all of that good stuff. It has to be.
Yeah. Well, you know what, you guys, and I know you all are busy, but I think you gave us an hour.
I know.
We could go on for hours. I think it's been about an hour. And, I know her phone is blowing up over there because you're busy. Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? I thank you all for just taking time out of you all's day.
No, we just said y'all.
For
Wow.
man, that does my heart.
I wanted to I feel that God is doing something with you, and I just want to be a part of it.
Man, thank you.
This is a blessing, because even if they may not be in ministry or be an entrepreneur, a testimony is a testimony.
Yes, yeah. And we're all testimonies of God's grace, of God's mercy. Now, that God can do great things with regular people. You know what I'm saying? With just ordinary people from Rocky Mount to Martinsville, Axton, Fall Creek. You know what I'm saying? These little towns, but we're crazy enough to believe in the God that we serve, that we can do amazing. I told my wife a couple weeks ago, I said, I'm believing that I'm gonna interview Bubba Wallace on this podcast. I said, I'm believing that the Bishop T.D. Jakes might come through one Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had a star. You know what I'm saying? But I thank you all for this is great. You know what I'm saying? Because this town right here, this bootleggers town, moonshine capital of the world, look out. Because the top church is here. You know what I'm saying? The top church is here, and I want, the top, So I want y'all we're going to end it. I want y'all to say what things y'all want to, y'all got some announcements or something you want to say. So, and then my wife, and then we'll be done. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I love to hear the announcement, but I want to say one last thing that I've learned and I found out that it really works. And I learned this through infertility is that you learn to be a blessing to give them. Because when we became, we have our first child more, the doctors want to say, different things about me, and I'm trust the Lord. And I said, we became foster parents. And we had a little child, God blessed us. And we was going to keep her, but family has first right. But it wasn't 2 months later, God blessed us with our son.
After we sent her back.
Send her back 2 months later.
You'll
be a blessing. Right. I would say that always keep that hand open.
Yeah.
As
Wow.
far as announcements and stuff, we just ask everybody to follow our social media pages, but just continue to pray for us, and we pray for you all, and just pray for the body of Christ, because the body of Christ, is always going to be strong. Yeah, I mean, we can't say, oh, the body of Christ, no, the body of Christ will always be strong.
Mhm.
But we've been through a lot. All churches have been
Yes,
through a lot in the
yes.
last couple of years. Pastors need prayer, pastors' wives, leaders in
Mhm.
church, deacons, people that clean the church.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Everybody needs prayer. Amen. Anything?
Right. I just want to say that, I appreciate listening to both of you all's story and being encouraged myself. And I promise you, anybody out there, you're going to receive something from this because I did.
Yeah,
So,
she been crying.
I just now turned off the faucet, and I'm telling you, it was hard. So it was a blessing to be here with you all.
Amen. And we want to thank again. The name of your business is the Nurses Touch Home Care, and Hairston Organ Sales and Rental. Hey, check these people out. You know what I'm saying? Have truck, we'll travel.
All right.
That's what you got. You know what I'm saying? He got a hand truck.
That's right.
You know, he will travel. And you say four counties?
Henry County, Franklin County, Pennsylvania County, Pennsylvania, Franklin, Henry,
And Patrick. And I want to thank you all for just taking time out of your busy schedules to be here with us. You know what I'm saying? You guys are awesome. You guys are going to continue to do great things, and all we can say is to God be the glory. And we're done. Thank you guys.
Y'all so much. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
Man.
I enjoyed it.
Hours. Lord.
Man, this was